so I'm corny. I'm going to wait for a second for Miss Zuri to log on and join us. But these conversations that we'll be having this month of July, are about wellness and radical self-care. There's so many things that have happened since the beginning of the year. People are breaking open, right? And beginning to unlearn some of these habits that have been embedded and stuck to us for a while. So it's been a time for self-discovery. It's been a time to be still. But then for others, it's also been a time for movement. So what we're doing is continuing these necessary conversations about racism, about wellness, about mental health. And I've invited some wonderful, wonderful people to join us. And so today we have Dr. Zuri Gross. And there she is. She is one of my, let's see. Zuri, I think you may have to request me. Let's see how this is going to go. Okay, there it went. Actually, I requested her. It's perfect. So as let's see if she's says waiting. Thank you all for joining us as well. Peace. Hey there, love.
Hey, give me 1 second. I just realized my headphones connected to the wrong phone.
Okay, no worries, no worries. And so I'm gonna give a little bit of information about Miss actually Dr. Gross. And she is a yogi. She's also a Reiki healer. She has Greater Self, that is her brand, and the way that she brings her healing modalities um, to the community. So, it says she left me. So let me see if I can get her back on. But she was also a part of or better yet, is a part of my yoga family. She was a part of my cohort, my YTT cohort, and family forever, right? And those who been through some let's see. For those who have been through YTT training, you leave with family, most definitely. The vulnerability and the awareness. There she is. Okay. Oh, I see. There we go. I got you. So Dr. Z is joining us today, and she's going to just give us some insight about what it is that she's doing, what she's bringing to the community, and also how you've been doing.
Well, I caught the last part of, just leaving from that yoga teacher training and how legit I left with a whole new family, which
Mm-hmm.
obviously you're a part of.
Yes,
Like
yes,
we got to learn about each other in a way that's a very intimate space
most
and
definitely.
allow for some vulnerabilities that you never know you need until you have them. And
Mm.
I would venture to say, for the most part, if I was to take a mini trip back historically of what even led me to that training, um, going over, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. Um, I completed my doctorate in counseling psychology, so I'm
Yes,
officially Dr. Zeri Gross.
that's right. Officially.
um, but in the process of doing therapy and really moving towards that field because I wanted to help people, there was a pivotal point where I could have continued down the route of mental health or actually gone into education for a special education and or teaching math specifically because I like numbers, which is weird.
Yes.
I know. I accept it. I embrace it.
We need you.
I was
Most
like, if I
definitely.
like math, other people like it. But I continued down therapy, and If anyone's ever become a therapist or considered doing it, most of the people that do therapy work, and everyone may not agree, we are usually the most broken and hurt folks. And we figure if we can help other people, then we don't have to address our own things.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can have a couple of live conversations about that. But go
Absolutely.
ahead. Yeah.
So in that process, as you know, I develop more skills and I'm doing my thing. I'm helping folks. I'm like, yes, I got this. I realized there's more than just traditional psychotherapy. So I started exploring other modalities. Yoga specifically used to be a thing that I was like, no, they're going to try to convert me to who knows what if I practice. Needless
Mm.
to say, ignorance is bliss. Um, Once you're awakened to it, that just started a whole funnel of me starting to explore other ways and other modalities on how I can help other people, but most
Mhm.
importantly, how I can help myself. Because if I'm not good,
Gotcha.
what I'm giving to other people pretty much sucks on some level. So, thanks to my yoga family, I was able to dig a little deeper and get to know myself more and recognize really where some of my own hurts and pains were standing at. And it comes back generationally, some of the life choices as an adult and me having to be willing to do the work of having my own therapy, of
Mhm.
exploring some of the cobwebs out of my past and why I made the choices I made and how they served in the moment, but no longer serve me now.
Okay, and I'm sorry. Like, for someone who could be watching this, who's going through the same thing, which is, of course, I've been there before. Um, what was it that gave you that willpower to be like, hey, I gotta go and do this inner work? Because just like you said previously, there are certain things that we bypass when, as healers, we come into our role, um, and then there's lack of self-care as you provide care and insight and guidance to others. So where would you say that willpower came from to pause for a moment and say, wait, I have to do this?
Um, I would say that December of 2015, right before we started the yoga teacher training, I took my first Reiki healing course, my
Okay.
level 1 course. And right after I took that course, some things that happened that were not likely to happen, and they were pretty detrimental and horrific to my livelihood. So I intentionally, at that point, I did sign up for the yoga teacher training. And at the beginning of 2016, when I was doing the training with you all, I was doing the training on the weekends. I worked during the day as a therapist at a non-public day school. I did security at nightclubs 2 to 3 nights out of the week. I have 2 daughters at home. At that time, this is like 4 years ago. My oldest just graduated high school, so
Woo woo,
that's where the oldest
congratulations.
was, right? Going to college. And
Yes, yes,
um,
yes. Congratulations.
thank you very much, because it took a whole entire village.
Most
Um,
definitely.
but when January started, I physically like looked pretty good because I come off of a breakup in 2015 and was like, I'm gonna work out. So I was feeling good, looking good. Did the training, decided to uh, like become vegetarian for a while and like start down this road. And but towards the end of 2016, there was a moment where I had to look in the mirror and like I was a lot more overweight than I had been in a long time. I physically didn't feel good. Needless to say, I stopped working out. I mentally didn't feel good. And I was looking at how that was spilling out across my kids. And I looked at
Mm,
my bank account and I was like, I can't even afford my life, even. Like, I can't afford my
mm,
life. I can't take care of my children. I'm not really good to anyone. Like, I'm showing up at work and I'm doing stuff, but I'm not doing anything of significance. And I think maybe the actual like final pin was my younger sister died towards the end of 2016 right about when I was
Mm.
like finishing my doctorate and getting the degree finally. And I was like, something has to be different because life
Yeah.
is too short. So I have to take care of me. And that started my process of slowly starting to shield away responsibilities that I kept acquiring, because every time I saw something, I was like, oh, I want to do that too. I want to take this training. I want to do this class. I want to heal in this way. I want to help this way. Help, help, help. And I think during that period, I probably began to be started teaching yoga at like the YMCA, and oh yeah, at some point had a yoga studio and totally different city. You remember?
I
I'm like totally right.
got
Like
there.
you were there.
Yes,
Like yoga
yes.
studio in a city I
Hmm.
didn't live in, and worked in another city I didn't live in, and it was not making sense. And the money leaving my account, my lack of existence or energy, and yet still showing up for other people, and then trying to coach cheerleading on top of all these things. It was like, this is crazy. I'm
Hmm.
doing every single thing that I'm telling everyone else not to do. When is it time for me to go ahead and stop and take a moment? You created a whole business called Greater Self, and yet you're running yourself ragged. Like, you're investing so much into everyone else's greater self. You're not. So it,
Mm.
I think money is usually the place where it's like, all right, I can't afford to continue to exist this way. So something has to
Yeah.
give.
I see, I see. So you mentioned greater self. So tell us about greater self.
So probably around about that same period of like starting yoga teacher training and along those lines, maybe 2015 or so, I decided I needed to create my own business, and needed to help people, and I
Okay.
wanted to give everyone everything that I was offering. And
Hmm.
when I maybe came to that place, I might have been doing my training on racism and being able to hold conversations and discussions around decreasing the impact of racism. And the name just made sense. Every time I've come back to look at my business and re-evolve, it's added another level and another layer of like, wow, you can still get greater. You can still be better. I
Hmm.
have the luxury of having a father who is more than willing to hold a mirror to my face like, hey, hey, hello, hey, you over there talking about greater self, but what about you? And
Mm.
he kind of kicked me into hyperdrive and was like, you need to get your life together. And I was like, you're right, I do. So I put out all these services that I offered. I was like, yes, I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to do therapy. I'm going to do Reiki, crystal healing, sound healing, life coaching, health coaching, like every single thing.
Hmm.
And it was all available, but the whole business component just didn't happen, or I didn't get it. I can say right now, moving forward 4 or 5 years later,
Hmm.
I've isolated down to what it is I'd like to offer folks. All those things are
Okay.
still available, but currently, and I'm going to show you in just a moment, um,
Awesome.
in my coaching process, I offer whole life coaching. I obviously still do psychotherapy and believe that it's totally beneficial and helpful for those that are willing to incorporate it, and you can use other modalities to support that. I do find when I'm able to do whole life coaching, I can be more direct, specific, and me, which
Hmm.
allows me to help people just cut to the chase a lot quicker. In psychotherapy, my approach is allowing folks to come to those realizations on their own and providing those guidance or those bumpers so they can start to see it for themselves. But I was doing one-on-one life coaching and but again, rebooking myself up with time and not taking care of me. And I realized I need to create a protocol of what I do, because I do the same process, because everyone ends up at the same space. When your money gets affected, that's when stuff changes. If you can
Mm.
still function, you may not be as willing to make changes to be a better version of you. So I created this lovely Greater Life Manifesto, which outlines
Okay.
about 90 days of the process of life coaching, and how to re-get yourself back together, starting from your mind, your body, and then
Mm,
improving yourself and reclaiming who it is you would like to re-announce to the world. So,
okay. Love it.
yeah. And in the midst of creating that, I have the lovely manifesto here. Oh, this is the workbook. Sneak peek. Well,
And
now you know there's
a
a workbook that goes with
workbook.
it. So the
She done
lovely
created a workbook and a
manifesto,
manifesto, y'all.
like
Okay.
just, just some stuff, some info in here. And
Okay.
a nice lovely accountability workbook that
Yes.
goes with it. Wait,
Okay.
wait for the flip. And we're almost there, but you can see some of the pretty graphics. It's like
Yes.
outlined out by weeks. Like
Uh-huh.
you're getting info in here. You're getting support.
Love
You've got a
that.
place to document. And it allows me to help more people overall instead of being
Right.
confined to, only 1 hour time slots per week. So this is actually about to launch within the next couple of weeks, how people can get access to these lovely tools and also have the option of a coaching session with me for actually the price of the protocol itself. But now
Mm.
you get a whole 90 days plus the additional month of reclamation where they take all those tools in, see how it's fitting, what's working, what's not working, and redesign how they like to do life moving forward from there.
Right. Right. I love that. I love that. Congratulations. You
Thank
just
you.
birthed another baby.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
that's you did. That's you brought, your own personal healing to the forefront, and with that you were able to create, something that is going to be helpful to so many other people. And
Absolutely.
thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. I love that. And being that you have all of these wonderful things that you bring to the community, and you're a mother, and you're a Black woman, and you're a business owner,
And a
um,
veteran. Oh,
and a
okay.
veteran. On top of
Yeah,
that, let's thank
absolutely.
you again, look, for your service. So, with the current, I want to say, the temperature of where we are. You did mention that you've done some studying on racism as well. I made a post a couple of days ago. There's an artist, Paul Rucker, that spoke on systemic racism. Um, and Breonna Taylor's killers are still, and I know it's heavy. It's heavy. Being a healer, being a person who provides services, most definitely for people of color, for Black people, Black women. Um, where what words I would say would or where are you sitting with that, in a sense of, being out there are some people who are reaching out and going to protest and sending letters and making videos and showing up. There are people who are holding meditations and just holding space for us, which is needed, most definitely.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to know, because our yoga studio, our home, is on 83rd and Western, right?
That
And
part.
so and so most of us who attended the training at the tree, we did not. Oh, it just flipped me over. Wait, let me go, because I'm in the car, as you can see. But most of us did not grow up participating in yoga, and so
Absolutely.
having the awareness and a bit of privilege to be a part of a program like that, and be able to actually go out and take it to other people who look like us, is a blessing, most definitely. So, yeah, how is it that you're dealing? And then you have little ones as well.
Absolutely.
A high school graduate who's going out into the world, this world, as a mother, as a healer. Where are you sitting? Where are you sitting with that? Or how are you sitting?
Well, it's interesting. As it started initially, my process, and I'm aware of my process, and it's not everyone's, nor do I expect it to be.
Hmm.
But I take info in, I sit, I feel it, I cried, I like did yoga, I meditated, I prayed, I spoke to elders and inquired like what in the heck is going on. And then
Mm,
I decided, you know what, I'm in a really good space to be extremely supportive to everyone that I have direct reach towards.
mm,
So I provided my staff that I supervise clinically with the space to like say what they need to say, explore what they need to explore, to normalize the fact that this isn't normal and that it's always been there and now you have to address it. And now we're not at a space where it's okay to pretend like what's happening isn't happening. And people are ready to talk and willing to talk. And while I'm a person of color who's done this extensive training on racism to be able to hold these conversations, at the end of the day, it's up to our allies to hold those conversations and do something about it. So the clients that I provide services to, my children, like I talk to them about that and I share like you have to be comfortable and solid with who you are and recognize when things are happening and be okay with the fact that you might have to call somebody out on their stuff and it's okay. I
yes.
find
Yes.
that I am most helpful to serve when I continue to show up and create that level of consistency that people had before all of this happened so that they still have a place to be. Because some of the folks that I was talking to, they were like, I wasn't sure if you would be available or not because I didn't know how it was affecting you. And then some Caucasian folks also reached out and were like, I want to hold a conversation. And I was like, I have to be very honest with you. The conversation that we're going to have is not probably going to be the conversation you were looking for. Because in the
Mm,
midst of all of this, and I even include the pandemic in it, for me, following my own protocol and minding my business first, I've been in a space where I've been thriving, where I've been
mm,
able to actually help more people and impact more folks. So I don't feel the same way that someone else feels in the midst of a pandemic that isn't.
mhm,
Personally, I understand it and I see
mhm,
it and I'm able to help facilitate it. But when people that may have been a space of privilege more frequently than not are like, oh, this doesn't feel good. And I'm like, so imagine how that feels for you in this immediate moment. And then imagine how that's how my life is every single day. And I actively choose not to experience or embrace that as my way of existing. And I don't hold it against you or anyone else so that I can still show up in my most authentic version without having to maintain the level of systemic racism that will put me in a position that as a Black female or African American female, that a male period is valued more than I would be, or a Caucasian male is valued more. And we just start breaking down these different levels. And then we start getting into like our colors. I'm in the middle. I'm brown.
mm,
Nobody ever talks about brown skinned people. But if you're light
mm.
skinned or dark skinned, there's always an issue. And there always has been, to the point that we created our own levels of racism within our own cultures. And it's that way for a lot of different races. Um, but being able to still know that,
Mhm.
understand where it's coming from, and when people are willing to have the conversation, I give the disclaimer like, I will do this. We will have this conversation. One, you're going to have to go do your own work, and two, I'm more than willing to offer my opinion if this is just a conversation of opinion's sake. But I will not do
Right.
the work for you. I'm not going to take away the disease that you may be feeling in the moment. And at the same time, I won't allow someone to blatantly disrespect you because you don't get it. But you too need to do your work, allies. I'm doing my work so that you still have the space to do yours.
Ashe. Love it. Thank you. Um, Thank you for joining me today for this short and it's a brief conversation, but we are working our way to a podcast, so we'll more than likely have you back on.
I'll be
How can
more than
people get in
excited.
contact to you? How can they find you? Where can they find you? And when are you dropping the manifesto and the workbook? Because I would love to support you.
So I am currently, and this is the beauty of the pandemic for me, was a space to slow down and look at what
Mm,
do I want to offer. So I am offering whole life coaching via this manifesto. I am offering yoga. And again, all these things are coming up by the end of this month, but I'm taking this month to really put it together. I want to
okay.
say around about the 15th or so, I'll start dropping a couple of things and start leaking them out, starting with the
Okay.
manifesto, and then also being able to look at how I can maintain my dreams, my
Hmm.
desires of being a temple priestess to continue with my greater goddess vibes and allow
Mm,
women to really take in their feminine energy and take all these other things that I've learned and how I can help women use that to
yes.
really manifest and harness that power that we naturally were born and given and unfortunately have lost along the lines through racism, through experiences, through history, through trauma, and blah, 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 blah. But
Mm,
um, I would say towards the middle and for sure by the beginning of August, things will be accessible. My
okay.
website is up. It will probably be revamped by the 1st of August.
What's your
Um,
website address?
it is greaterself.org.
Okay.
I can be reached on Instagram, greaterself underscore Dr.Z. Um, my cell works. It's 818-792-7770. Like I'm available.
She's
Um,
accessible, y'all. That's blessings. Blessings on that.
shoot a text. I will get back to you. I cannot pretend like my schedule is not packed, but I will respond.
Nice, nice. Blessings. Giving you, like, sending you all of the good energy and a big old hug. Yes, yes, most
Absolutely.
definitely. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Z. And thank you for continuing to lift us all up. I won't ever forget, because we cried. Oh, I cried a lot during YTT. And she'd be like, drink some water. You don't want to get dehydrated. Have my back.
So you
I won't
got,
ever
oh
forget
my
that.
God, I feel so seen now. That's my thing. Like drink the water. You will be
Yeah.
dehydrated.
Look, look, because we had to let those tears flow, most definitely.
Absolutely.
But I'm definitely grateful for you joining me today and joining us today, the Thick Girl Yoga community, and connect with her, follow her on Instagram, support another woman, another veteran, another Black woman, another goddess who is doing her thing. And know one thing, it's not easy, but she's in alignment and she's doing it.
Oh shoot, I forgot the most accessible component. Of course, it's a little warm right now, so I didn't wear it, but I definitely have apparel and merchandise that people can always access their greater self. That's absolutely available on the website.
Right. Get your greater self merch. And it's important
And
too because we see it, right? You want to be able to see it and remember and reclaim. So that's really what it's
absolutely.
about, most definitely. So thank you for joining me, Dr.
Thank
Z.
you for
And
inviting me. Like,
of course,
I really greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and I'm glad we all decided to take the training when we took it so that we could have these opportunities to cross paths and even continue to see each other thrive and grow and like do our things and show up in our most
most
authentic
definitely.
versions, drinking our water as we cry away
Look, right, right.
and keep shedding to new greater levels of who we are. Like, so thank you for holding the space and even offering me an opportunity to be a part of it.
Of course, always, always. Well, we will be connecting soon. Again, you guys contact her if you need any of that goodness. And I'm on that manifesto and workbook. I'm like, workbook?
Yes. Like you'll be
I get
like,
to
this
feeling
is
that.
it?
That's
Like
funny.
this is
That's
all I had to
awesome.
do for my life. Yes.
Yeah, it's tools. We all need the tools. And, it's a blessing that you were able to show up for us today. Peace and love. I'll be
Thank
in contact
you.
with you soon.
Absolutely. Have an amazing day.
Thank you. You as well, love.
All right. Bye. And
Bye.
thank you everybody that joined.
Look, right? Thank you, everyone that joined us today. Peace and love, y'all.
All
Peace and blessings, everyone.